Hello everyone, Jack and Dane here. Today we come bring you back one new episode of Time Attack Rivals. A good friend of ours, fellow super time attacker, hold on, Alan Patton, brings out a pretty ridiculous car. A seriously ridiculous car. All right, Alan, first off, what the hell is this? Why did you bring it out? And why did you decide to bring it out to ruin my year?
So I saw you guys talking shit on the podcast. You said we're gonna win limited and track mod and all that.
I've never said that.
I just decided to grab a Grand Sport and just a Grand Sport C7 basic bolt-ons.
Really, basic bolt-on.
Yeah.
Right. How much of a Grand Sport is left in this?
It's got a Z06 stock motor.
Yeah.
So
ZR1 bumper.
Yeah, ZR1 bumper, fenders.
The engine's not a Grand Sport.
Yeah, it's Z06.
Yeah.
It's kind of shaped like a Grand Sport, so.
It's got a Grand Sport VIN number, that's still there.
Yeah.
So walk us through a little bit of the car. Like, first off, you brought it out to Super Lap. You've done like maybe 3 laps in it.
Yeah.
And you already broken the GTA limited record by 2 seconds from last year?
No. It's like less than a second, just a little bit.
Was it? Oh,
we got more for it tomorrow, so we'll see.
I'm scared. Anyway, walk us through the car slightly.
Yeah, so I bought this car originally as just like a kind of a seat time car. A lot of the guys were saying that the Supra is a cheater car.
They said that a lot, by the way. They really said that a lot.
I think Supras are actually kind of hard to drive fast, but I decided to get something a little harder to drive apparently, according to some people. Yeah, took it to Louis Duati, LGR, and he basically took it from a bare strip shell to what you see here in like 60 days. Full Zebulon aero, the entire aero package by Zebulon. So we were gonna originally run this car in street mod. So we threw a...
in what? He says street mod.
Yeah, we were gonna go hurt Dewey's feelings.
God.
But instead we decided to hurt Jackie's feelings. You're welcome, Dewey. Originally street mod build, but we had some issues getting the gearbox in time that we needed for that, just due to rules. So we decided, just go ahead with a track mod build, come fully Jackie basically. Full Motec, Bosch ABS, MCO gearbox, sequential. Got the full Zeb Aero, Penske suspension. Pretty much anything that you could want on a C7 build, we did it.
I mean, on shakedown, this guy did like what, 4 laps?
Well, 2 flyers.
2 flyers. Yeah. The second flyer was a 211 at COTA. 11.
Yeah.
211.
It's not me. It's the car.
They say that, but you're the bit in the middle. But there are some bits on this I really like. The aero package, obviously on the front, looks extremely aggressive. It actually looks really similar to Fleming's car. Eric Fleming's.
Yeah, it's pretty close. He's got a little bit of different front elements and stuff. Like it sticks out a little farther. Like we said, we're running this in track mod, so we're actually going to have to trim it down a little bit. But
oh yeah, 6 inches.
Yep. Yeah. Right. So we got to have the 6-inch rule. But yeah, that's why we ran the ZR1 bumper, because it's.
That's OE.
Yeah, this is OE. So for the grid life rules, we can,
that's pretty bullshit. All right.
Splitter gate.
Oh yeah, splitter gate too.
Splitter gate.
Yeah. Shut up, dude. I can hear you already. Okay, moving on slightly further back.
Actual OEM.
Yeah, actual OEM. Fair. I'm not going to protest that.
Yeah.
We'll protest everything else. Can we move on to this real quick? Okay. You're running 20s. 20 inch
20s.
on this car.
I just like bling, basically.
Is this really bling? Look at how bling this is. But also, besides the wheels, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about the tires.
Yeah, so wheels by A12 Wheels, they hooked me up with like a crazy 1-week turnaround because I decided last minute to do these wheels and tires. The tire is a 335/30/20 off of a AMG 1. Drove Cup 2Rs for the first time not too long ago, and I was just very impressed by the tires. Figured it'd be a good choice. They only come in 20s though, so I had to do it for the culture.
Just bring the camera closer. How do you get this? That is the AMG 1 on the tire sidewall.
One of my favorite things about the car is the side pipe header.
Like, dude, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So that's a Lewis G special right there.
I love the fender cut right here because I just think that looks badass.
Yeah, with like the floor and everything. So it's a full flat floor car as well. They actually did the layups and everything for the floor in-house with the Zebulon side skirts.
Wow. Can I bring your attention to one thing in the engine bay? this is not something I've seen until like very recently. If you look on just on this side of the exhaust manifold, you usually see one O2 sensor per side of the engine and so on. There's 4 on this side alone.
So this car is actually running lower than stock boost, and it makes 835 when it's fully turned up.
What?
And it's at stock LT4.
Wow.
So I don't know how they did that wizardry, but that's part of it, is the individual lambda, and then the direct injection. So,
yeah, because I was talking to Chris, one of the engineers and helpers on the car.
Yeah.
He said doing the individuals per cylinder, doing individual cylinder tuning was worth 40 horsepower.
I believe it.
Which is pretty wild. We don't think about it, but yeah, it makes sense. And they shifted the engine back slightly, correct?
Yeah, it's backing down. So
I'm
a good eye.
Yeah. Well, no, I was told ahead of time.
Yeah,
I did not. So paddle shifters are now available and legal in GTA. We're limited.
Yep, GTA. In track mod, I think we're gonna have to go to a lever. So that'll be interesting because like the gears are so tightly spaced.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. Visually, you can see the AP brakes.
Very bling, very bling.
Yeah, they match the chrome wheels, which is cool. I think we're hitting 183 right now on the back straight.
Wild.
So yeah, it's
fast.
They're slowing us down from that speed is impressive. And the car it weighs 3,400, so it's not necessarily light.
Is that with you or without?
With me, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's actually about the same weight as the M2 at the moment.
Yeah.
What a kick in the balls. Anyway, continue.
So yeah, pretty impressive with that. The Penske dampers. I've tried a few different suspension companies, and Penske so far are the ones that I like the best. It's got all the good spherical stuff. The thing that the Corvette has over a Supra, for instance, longer wheelbase, and it's double wishbone. So that's kind of what drew me to the jokes aside, but that's what drew me to the Corvette as a platform. Is it's kind of motorsport based from the ground up.
Alex and I was just talking about this because it's really hard to beat a Corvette in terms of motorsport DNA.
Yeah,
I'll like
for the price too.
Engine, transmission in the back, engine in the front.
Yeah,
like weight distribution from front red.
Very slim.
Very slim. Weight's pretty good. Yeah. And
if you think of like all the weaknesses that the Supra has,
yes, much fierce and strut.
Yeah, all the weight in the front. Like I think they're like 54% in the front.
Yep.
All this like erases that. So
So basically, to build a Supra as good as this, you'd need to basically make it into this. Put the transmission in the back. Change a bunch of stuff so much. You may as well just have one of these.
Exactly. Yeah. Been fun so far.
It's been crazy to watch so far, man. I wanted to keep up with him, but my hood is open, so I couldn't. Yeah. Otherwise, I might have done 13 too.
He was on me. I will say.
I was on him on the warm-up lap.
On the warm-up lap, yeah. He was really getting after it.
Yeah. I think this build is one of the coolest cars we've seen so far. Like, in the last 2 years, we haven't done the Time Attack Rivals so much because there wasn't that many cars on the track that really like, oh god, that's so cool. This is like, this blew everything out of the water. This is crazy, man.
Hopefully it's a real Time Attack car. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, probably. I'm in love with this thing.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm really happy that Alan's the one beating us here. Because if anybody else wins,
you'll be a lot more.
I'd be a lot more upset. But I love the guy. I love the build. I love this whole thing and the effort they put together.
I mean, Jackie Ding in Equal Machinery is the only guy that has beaten me in Time Attack. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Let's just throw that out there.
But only because you DNF'd early.
I hit a wall, but we don't have to talk about that. He didn't hit a wall, so.
I was fully aware that weekend he would have had me, and this guy is awesome. Follow him if you haven't already, and we can't wait to see this thing in track mod, motherfucker. But in track mod trip.
Just protest me. But I don't care about running unlimited, by the way. So you can just protest me. Yeah.
Alex is like, please go run unlimited. We have sponsors, we have kids, we have family we need to feed. But like, we love this thing so much, and we just want to see him kill every single record in track mod and unlimited and so on. So Alan's been kicked off of camera duty because Alex wants to get more technical detail. And he decided to use me, the least technical person at PhD of 2-person, to give this intro. So I don't know what to ask, but how the hell did you two build this in 60 days? And along with the row of crew behind us. You want to give everybody a quick, There's a lot of people involved in this program, which
So
is fucking insane.
We have
sounds
this,
insane.
we have this thing. It's called the chart, and it's what we live and die by. The chart is actually over there on the wall. If you guys want to reference that at some point, it's not safe for work, but it's fine.
We'll post it. We're not safe for work anyway. It's fine.
Awesome.
Go
Yeah.
on.
But so it's the mood meter. So it describes where we are. And so every day I'd usually check in with Lewis to see where he is. This kind of started in January. We realized the Supra wasn't going to get done for this. That was kind of part of the goal. And so we had the C7 Grand Sport laying around in Alan's garage. And we're like, we wanted actually to take it to Grid Life CMP, which is coincidentally this weekend. And then Lewis is like, well, it'll be at my shop. Why don't we just take it to Super Lap Battle? And, we're right here. We're only 3 hours away from Lewis's shop. So that's how we ended up here. And it was originally just going to be, we're running street mod. So we did the stock blower setup, tried to think of, something tame. And then it quickly evolved into this. We weren't going to do, the air shifter, full flat floor, everything. Actually, Alan didn't even know about the flat floor when we started it.
He did.
No, he didn't.
He did.
know about it.
He did. Okay,
I found out when the
my definition
Only with the invoice is.
my definition of flat floor was not really. I didn't really call it out as a flat floor. Maybe I call it a belly pan, but because that's
yeah, fair.
like when you say flat floor, people get scared. And I was also going to make it modular because in Grid Life, in some of the classes, you can't run a full flat
you're
floor.
right. Yeah,
But in Super Lap, you can. And that's why, like, one of my videos I did, there's like 42 different classes. All the rules are really similar, but maybe splitter is 2 or 3 inches different, and wing setback is 2 or 3 inches different, but the powers are the same, the tires are the same. And so there's like really similar crossover to all these different classes, but they're not the same.
Exactly.
And so, like, the flat floor is a big deal in limited because it's worth 10 miles an hour at the apex, which is a significant gain. And so I knew that I wanted a flat floor for Super Lap, but I also knew that if you look at his trajectory, right, like he started running the Camaro and then he was running the stock Supra, and then you saw the path he took with the other Supra, and it's just off the charts. And I knew that the car was going to end up
you have to prepare for the future.
Right, exactly. I said, I know how you are. Let's go ahead and do all the heavy lifting now, which is side headers, flat floor, the Motec, the Bosch, because we've already struggled with the Supra and the electronic diff challenges. All you get it, right? I'm not telling
Tell
you
me all about
you
it.
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about Super E-diffs.
I remember that. I remember you guys struggling on Lime Rockwell.
That was real.
Yeah.
So it's like, the problem is that I'm my own worst enemy, and I had basically 90 days to do what I wanted to do, but the only goal was to make it this weekend.
So the car arrived at LGR. I looked at my phone the other day. It was January 14th when the transporter showed up at the shop.
I needed to start on the car, and so I had a chassis. I had a burn tub at the house, and I forklifted the burn tub into the shop.
As you would, just have a tub at the car at the house. Yeah.
One that is burned down, caught on fire. The entire interior is torched.
Yeah.
So it's just a burn
So I
chassis he acquired.
started building headers and stuff off of that, and because I didn't have the car, and I couldn't wait 10 days for the car to show up. The rest is history. I think it was an average of 110 hours a week for the past 12 weeks.
How many hours are in a week?
168.
When you think about it, it's like, oh, you actually slept. Yeah, I did sleep. Didn't really do much more than that. Didn't do much more than that. My wife will confess to that.
Yeah, so we were at the shop pretty much every day from 8 a.m. to midnight every day, and we didn't go anywhere else.
I mean, that's what it takes to do something like this. That's wild.
And realistically too, like, have you ever built you have a built motor for any of your cars? You got OEM motor in all of them? So engine builders engine builders can be challenging, right? And so I knew that in order to keep this car rolling, to keep it online, we needed to use easy to get parts. And the stock short block, the stock motor is a good motor. We sourced an engine in a matter of like hours.
This is before the car showed up.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's how you do that. So,
and then the short block spent probably 30 more days than it should have at the engine builder who assembled it into a long block.
Yeah.
With heads and all.
That seems to be a typical case with engine builders sometimes.
Right?
And then they hit
So how do you
with
keep your
keys.
car on track if you're waiting on the engine builder?
But you get 2 engines?
Well, that's another reason. It's another thing. You can do that for sure.
Yeah.
Or you just make sure you have readily available parts.
What did it take to move the engine back?
Oh yeah, so
Okay.
did we mention did we mention in the earlier talk about the engine setback?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got a photo from Lewis of the front subframe with some Sharpie marks on it, and I said more. Also, like we have some OEM CAD of the C7, and so we mocked up the engine dry sump in the CAD, and we saw immediately that the outfeed on the the scavenge and the dry sump pump was going to hit the cradle.
Well, that and then the transmission. So the transmission drove a lot of it because the C7 7-speed is 1.5 inches longer than the C6 and C5 gearbox, right? And so I could only source a C6 sequential, which was 1.5 inches shorter. Well, now my diff is too far forward. So how do I counteract that? I have to move the engine back. So because I was building headers,
We had to do it,
I could only get a C6 gearbox, I just basically shrunk the two together and then moved it back.
And down.
And
So
down.
you
did
didn't
lower.
even need to change the torque to.
It's still got the OEM torque tube. So it's OEM torque tube. It's
Not from the
got-
C6.
for the C7.
She's okay.
Yeah.
The C7 torque tube is pretty short.
Right.
We chopped a little bit out of the aluminum subframe. It's aluminum subframe.
just for fitting clearance.
Yeah, it's for fitting. Yeah, there's performance.
Also,
obviously.
still stock subframe.
Yeah, these stock subframes, stock arms.
But
It's,
knuckles.
yeah, it's got drop spindles.
It's
but
got drop
That's
spindles.
from you guys?
yeah, Lewis
Yeah.
makes this.
Yeah. In time attack, right? Your challenge is variable track conditions throughout the day.
Yep.
I know that I have to get my work done because I'm on a street tire typically, or I'm on a soft compound, so I have to get my work done on track in 2 laps or less. So for grid life, the class we chose originally, we had to use an OEM engine configuration. In that case, that was the blower. In order to keep it cool on track and to live on track, we wanted to run as little boost as possible. So it only makes like 9.5, 10 pounds.
Which is less than OEM.
That's
so it's
crazy.
pulling
Yeah.
up from a.
Yeah.
You hear people talking about pulling down
Yeah,
lower car.
yeah.
This is pulling up.
Yeah, and so we turn it a little bit higher. We turn it at 7,200 RPM. We just worked on the efficiency of the entire combination. So it has no air filter. It has a screen, but no air filter. It's got
Yeah,
a
I was gonna ask about that.
It's got a 5-inch ram air, and I haven't looked at the data yet, but I would assume that at the back straight we're going 182. I would say that we're probably seeing 1/4 to 1/2 psi of pre-throttle pressure.
Wow.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And then it's got a massive heat exchanger in front of the radiator,
Multiple
Yeah.
massive heat exchangers.
keeping thermal management in mind and not getting crazy with boost and doing dumb things. Because I'd rather have 700 horsepower every single lap than to have 800 once and then limp mode. I utilized a Porsche 992 oil cooler in the front,
It's oil to water.
and then I used a large in the back. I used the large where the fan is in the back. That's a big scavenge cooler. So it's on the
Yeah, and there's the fan on the back of the car.
The ZR1, it's got huge front inlets,
Yep.
but we're actually using like just the far right one. This one, it's literally hitting the top of the radiator. No actually cooling flow through the heat exchangers. So the only airflow is right here at the bumper. So we actually trimmed the ZR1 splitter
Yep.
to give us more airflow in between the bumper. So it still maintains the outer body line for protest from Dewey. And
For protest from Dewey, I love that line.
You can see the Peter Rock from the reflection of the carbon from
Yeah.
my angle.
Really?
it's
Oh my God, you're right.
It's
Holy crap.
It's a good old PWR. It's also we couldn't get a 1ZR bumper, so we do have the front splitter cameras. So when we're parking it, we can. We don't have it, but we could.
But the camera is there.
We could hypothetically see the splitter when we park it in the trailer, or at Cars and Coffee, or 7-Eleven.
Stream out, remember?
It
Stream out.
does have a license plate. We
we drove it.
We drove it to the track
dude.
last
we
night to
were
test.
we were so out
Yeah,
of time.
I remember that
Yeah.
Instagram story, yeah.
We were so out of time. I didn't have the
I need to send you
time.
that video to throw in here.
Didn't have the time to load it in the trailer to take it to the track.
That's 15 minutes. So we had a test last night. We were supposed
Yeah.
to be on track at
Yeah.
4:30,
Yeah.
and we finished up the car at like 5:45, and they were gracious enough to stay for 15 minutes
so I
to let us do 2 laps in the track.
we zip tied the license plate to the bumper and drove it to the track.
Yeah,
to
drove it to the
van.
van. Yeah.
It's got a TI Automotive brushless fuel pump. That's the T1 deal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the ID fuel controller.
Yep.
And because we were running ethanol and we were going to target 800 wheel, we wanted a little bit extra fuel pump. And the way that the brushless pump comes from TI, it's like marginal on fuel flow. That's exactly what we have in that car. We have the standard issue, non-expensive controller in Eric's car, and I knew that we would be on the limit with this car with the blower. And so we went ahead and did the big dog fuel pump controller, and it's got a bunch of data on the bus. We can see fuel pump speed, we can see pressure, we can see duty cycle, we can see RPM of the pump. It's pretty wild.
RPM of the pump.
The fuel pump.
Yeah.
Fuel pump RPM.
If you're noticing the theme on this build, it's all about data.
Yeah. so-
Because
Yeah.
Lewis has a saying.
Yeah.
What's your saying, Lewis?
Without data and context, All you have is an opinion. And,
Very fair.
And why have an opinion when you can just know?
Have facts.
Right.
Because we had 60 days to build this, I don't have shot clots on this car, so I just have guesses at what the car's doing. But then we also have, this is, it's ARE dry something.
No, that's Era 1.
Oh yeah, we need to pop this up too.
There's another panel.
A second panel has hit the chat.
Oh my god. What are we looking at, boys?
This is an MCO CG46 sequential made specifically for a Corvette. So billet, front and rear plate, whatever, but it's still like a cast housing. It's not full billet. Is this a C6Z or base model diff?
C6. No, this is so it's funny.
Speaking of E-diffs,
C7 has E-diff also.
Yes.
Lots of C7s have E-diff, but we haven't figured out a way to control it. I don't feel like investing the time to control it. I'm sure it's very powerful, but the R&D that would make it work, I don't have the time to do that. So when you go to the dealership and you buy a base model C7, non-C51, I didn't even know that they made a C7 that didn't have a dry sump. They actually made them with wet sumps. And so
like all the Hertz cars.
Yeah. And so those cars actually have mechanical diff. No E-diff. No E-diff.
Really?
But they have the same splines, so it's big spline, same big ring and pinion, and the later models came with diff pumps. And so you can put a mechanical diff in it, and you don't have to worry about control.
you don't have to run an electric, differential pump, worry about that failing, tilting or welding unit, we got here and our wing was illegal due to some.
Was that too far back?
Bro,
It was.
I missed it. Didn't take it into account. I think I was more worried about the trunk shutting.
Yeah. I mean, the last, I guess 3 months now, we've probably had 5,000 texts at least, between me, Lewis, and Alan.
Yeah, so fun fact, we built this car, I would say 99.5% through text.
Yeah.
Text.
No phone calls.
Phone calls, everyone's busy. Nobody has time for that. So hashing out rules, everything is just text.
They built this car in 60-something days through 90s telecom technologies.
We all had.
You could have at least sent some pictures.
We did.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's probably thousands of pictures.
So maybe early 2000s technologies.
Alan had not met Lewis in person until yesterday.
Yeah.
If you notice things that aren't powder coated, it's because they were finished in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
because black and also black.
Like the
Also black.
the
Also
entire
black.
rear panel was just finished.
Yeah.
If things aren't black, it's because I made that bulkhead last week. That's the one thing I fabbed on this car, so that's black. So
We, Zebulon did the Aero. Well,
Ryan Neff, yeah.
he couldn't give me any parts. I found the wing on Marketplace.
I sent it to you, yeah.
Chris sent me the wing on Marketplace.
And the front splitter.
And the front splitter. The front splitter is actually different. I got the front splitter from another customer who had it repaired. But then Zebulon's like, I can't get you a floor. And I'm like, well, what do I do now? So I built a carbon table and I learned how to do carbon.
That's what he told us.
Yeah.
How big of a piece of glass did you buy?
I bought a 10-foot long by 5-foot wide piece of half-inch tempered glass and learned how to do composite infusion.
Wow.
The amount of stuff I've seen Lewis learn in the last 90 days.
Yeah.
And this is someone who's been building race cars for 30 years professionally now.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. No, don't stop. Don't stop learning.
Yeah. And then we're running some street tire time attack car.
I want to give up, man. I want to give up so bad right now.
What's your chart location, Jackie?
Well,
You want to go point it where you are?
Just for this, I want to go look at this chart. So if I had to categorize this chart for me, right, personally, all my years of Super Lap Battle, when we did a 13.8, it would be right around here. Right, let's fucking go. That's great. High energy, unpleasant, and pleasant. I think before we did 213.8, I was around here. I was around all right, I'm gonna give it my all, like whatever. It was either die trying or try dying. I'm kind of like between this area. I'm floating between all right, it is what it is. We've lost. We're never gonna win against something like a rocket ship like that. And this is my Ferrari fan zone, this is how I am for the last 15 years as a Ferrari fan. I mean, my mom wouldn't be sad. My mom's got my little sister, so this zone doesn't exist for me. So she's given up on me 15 years ago. But this is where I'm at, and I don't know how to feel.
You have a sister?
I do. But where are you, Alex? I do want to know.
Me? I'm maybe here.
We're not back. We're going
Okay, here. I'm here.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is-
yeah.
that might be the video of our COTA videos. It is what it is.